All right, hold on. All right, we're live. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of a delay, or we had some issues with Zoom, but welcome back. So Mary and I just came back from a great event, Growth Hacking Live. We actually participated in the first ever Vibathon. I don't even know what do you want to call it. Like it was we had a crap ton of people vibe coding all that night. It was close to 100 people. I think we built it altogether about like 40 apps, which is pretty wild. And now we're back home, or at least I think I'm back home. I don't know what Mario is. Mario's probably floating around in another state other than his home. But today we're going to continue on part two of creating our MCP server, as promised. So for anybody coming in, just remember we're going to be building this out. We're going to be doing the MCP build out in the next like several weeks, probably because it's going to take more than a couple of weeks. So that's it. So actually, I'll turn it over to you, Mario, and kind of the way we want it. So remember, last time we went over all the strategy behind what an MCP is, how to, exactly what to do with it, and this time around, we are actually going to be kind of getting into the build part of it, right?
Yeah, man. So let me pull up my API documentation and then I'll share my screen and we will get started.
Now,
So
for
I'm
anybody, just to get a quick little recap while Mario's getting set up, is that remember, um, when you're dealing with MCP servers, remember, it's like we are trying to time compress basically a lot of the calls that we would normally have to do. So anybody building a software, your software like costs and even the amount of stuff that you do have to do inside the software gradually decreases because you are going to use an MCP to basically connect into it and go from there. So that becomes like the basic of what we're trying to do is creating MCP servers just make things incredibly easier. And it allows us to do more with like basically less connections because all we're worried about is like one connection. And also, something we also want to go over is that Mario's going to come out with his talk to my CRM, which you're going to be basically able to be talking to your high level, which is going to be pretty cool. And Mario, that's developing. The beta is already launched. I think we've got 1,200 some people signed up. So we want to make sure that we show you guys what Mario's been building for the last several months now, I think. So yeah, without further ado, go ahead, Mario. I don't want to steal your thunder here on this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So really the first thing that we start with is the API documentation itself. And so in this case, practical example, I'm just going to use high levels API docs. And what we're going to do is we're going to be using Cursor today to scan the API documentation and really give it an opportunity. And we're going to kind of, write some prompts and talk about, what that looks like. So let me go ahead and get a new cursor window spun up. So I'm going to get a new cursor window spun up. And this is our API docs. You can see high level API 2.0. So while we're waiting for that cursor window to spin up, it is going to take it a second. I'm going to dismiss this. File, new window. All right, cool. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a project on our computer. So we are going to go to right over here and go to the documents file, go into GitHub and create a new folder. And we're going to call that high level MCP. And I'm going to go ahead and open a project. And we're going to go to GitHub. And we're going to go to high level MCP and select this folder. All right, now this folder is going to be completely blank, right? So I'm going to say, yep, I trust the authors. And there is nothing in here. Perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some documents into Cursor. For those of you who don't know what Cursor is an integrated development environment that has AI capabilities in it. So pretty powerful. What we do is we go into the settings and we're going to go into indexing and docs, and we're going to add some docs in. And these docs are going to be the documents for high level API. So we're going to confirm this. And what this is going to do is this is going to crawl and index the documents inside of high levels knowledge base. So it's pretty powerful. We can see the pages. It's going to index one pages, start with that one page. And then we will let that kind of run. And in the meantime, I just want to ask Claude, what if it knows what an MCP is? So you can see here I'm using Claude Sonnet 1 million, which is the max version of Claude. So I'm going to say, do you know what an MCP is? So, yep, it says yes, an MCP refers to Model Context Protocol. Perfect. So it knows what an MCP is. Let's check our document indexing status. And we're going to have it start indexing and get as many pages as possible out of this high level workspace. But it looks like it is not grabbing all the documents that I want. Let's figure out why.
So
So
I
I
hope
need,
everybody understands that. It's like you're basically giving AI, like the cruiser is an AI, right? That helps us write code and everything else. So he's basically feeding the documents again to give the AI the knowledge, very like, but very explicit knowledge into building the connections of APIs. Because remember, all an MCP is basically a bunch of APIs all at once, and that's what we're doing. And now what Mario's doing is very ninja-like. He's going to the sitemap and he's grabbing the actual links and everything else to go in there, which is pretty freaking cool.
yes, please. XML. There we go. Now it should start indexing. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to get it to index the actual full site build. What is happening? Added that. This just does take a second. The reason this is important, guys, is because the documentation inside of high levels knowledge base is really where we're going to find all of the resources and information that we need to give the AI in order to create the MCP server. So we don't have any information. I don't want to type out all the API calls. So really what we're doing with this is we're getting it to grab as much information as possible. All right, while that's indexing, say, all right, what is the best software packages and technologies to build an MCP server? Would we use Python or Node.js, for example? So the cool thing, guys, about using AI is you can ask it questions and it will tell you what your best opportunities are. So, and you can see it's thinking, it's asking itself questions, it's planning. Yep. So it's got plenty of information. It's got it tells us that we can either use Python or Node.js. Either one is fine. We can really go with either choice.
Now, Mario, you did say there is a really big difference of using Python versus Node, right?
Yeah, so Python's pretty fast. I mean, it's my preferred method. It's literally called fast MCP. Um, it is very it's very quick and low resource, low overhead. It doesn't require a bunch of imports. It's a little bit of a simpler language, so especially if you're getting started, I prefer Python. It's easier for beginners. Node.js is a little bit more complicated. I think personally, Python is the better choice in this context, so that's what we're gonna go with.
Awesome.
All right. I would like you to write up a documentation about our MCP server plan. We are going to use Python, and this will be for the high level OAuth 2.0 API that can be found in the document. And so what it's going to do is it's going to start creating planning. So right now it's thinking. And then it's going to create a README. Now this README file is really important, guys, because this README file is going to guide us and the MCP and the AI building the MCP. So we want this README file to be pretty comprehensive. The good news about AI is it does a really good job with writing READMEs. It's very detailed. It kind of understands that it needs to be as detailed as possible. So we're just going to let that roll. There we go. Let's take a look at this README file.
Pretty funny. It says built with love for the high level community.
Yeah, so it has all of our documentation. It has our framework information, our different steps that we're going to create, all sorts of different stuff, essentially that we're going to need. Even creates our file structure, and tells us, different implementations, different examples, different tests, production deployment information, pretty much everything we need. And then, yeah, it does say built for love for the high level community right at the end.
I just thought that was so random. I'm like, oh, I guess that's nice. That's nice.
My Claude is trained pretty well.
See that? That's pretty nice.
So let's go ahead and say, all right, let's get started. And so it already has.
And just to be clear, like, right, so far, there's been like no coding whatsoever that Mario's had to do. All he did was literally index and give the information basically to Cursor to basically go in there and learn how to do whatever it is that it is. So meaning we're literally giving him the instructions of like how to best work with the API and so forth, right? Now,
Yep.
if you guys see what's happening on the left-hand side, he put let's get started and it automatically asked him to install Python. So there is, again, so far zero coding from Mario's side, in the sense of like doing anything that a normal person couldn't do.
Yep, so it's building things out right now. We can even see some of the tool. It's creating a tools folder. I hate Zoom. It has so many windows. But then what it's going to do is it's actually going to go through and check off steps as it completes them, which is pretty powerful, right?
I mean,
So it's,
I mean, it's amazing in the sense that you don't have to do it. Like this, so far, you literally have touched nothing. And just to be clear, all that it's doing on the right hand side is it's already it's already starting to create it, right?
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, it's already creating all the models for um already creating all the models and basically everything.
Now, let me ask you a question. There's quite a few endpoints, right? It's 250 endpoints. Is it going to try to connect all 250, or is it just going to give up at a certain amount?
Oh, don't try and connect all of them.
He'll try to connect all of them, huh? Holy smokes. How many credits do you think this is going to burn out?
Quite a few.
Quick. And
I
are you
honestly I don't know.
yeah, are you doing but are you doing cursor directly in your, like, so anybody, again, cursors are very advanced like coding programmer, so like what a lot of the programs are out there now using. Now, are you going in here and do you have this downloaded on your computer, or are you doing it directly from the cursor website?
Oh, this is downloaded on my computer.
Yeah. And do you
Yeah, cursor.
recommend that versus like not having cursor like outside of
Oh
your
yeah.
computer? Like, yeah,
Oh
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you want cursor on your local device.
I have it on mine too, and it's like I gotta be honest, it's been a minute since I've used it.
Yeah, it's super powerful. You want cursor on your local device for sure.
And then once you have your MCP server, like once you create it, so that's the other thing that it like took me a while to like understand. Like once this is like completed, right? Completely built out, you have the ability of connecting into it. It then has the ability of like doing whatever task the MCP server is supposed to do. You still have to host it somewhere, correct, Mario? Because like an MCP server is basically what it is. It's a server. It has to exist in either the cloud somewhere or in a local area that has access to the internet, so you can access your MCP server. Am I not right about that? Or
That's correct. So you kind of want a local device. So the reason why, like, I host my MCP in the cloud. So my MCP is hosted so other people can use it in the cloud. But generally speaking, you'd want a MCP server locally hosted. That's kind of the easiest way to do it.
Mhm.
Because that way you can connect like Claude Desktop or ChatGPT Desktop or something like that to your MCP server. Cloud hosting it is kind of a little bit of a unique requirement, I would
Mhm.
say. So not necessarily as critical as
But if you were building an app, you would.
yeah, you would cloud host it, correct.
And again, a lot of people are like, "Why do I even need this?" If you start building your own MCP servers, let's say to software that you want to connect into, and you want to have a more advanced way instead of creating like API connections, all you have to do is basically connect to your MCP server. And you got to also remember, a high level is giving us the ability on voice AI, as of like 2 days ago. You now can connect directly to an MCP server. So you can imagine, like, let's say you created a store somewhere and you wanted access to everything inside your store. You could create your own personal MCP server that would have like certain access to your APIs or anything like that. Or you just can connect to a bunch of MCP servers that are already created out for you. Mario, can we show them the library of MCPs out there? Because I think there's an official library, right? At some point.
No, in GitHub there is a MCP library, and there are tons and tons and tons of MCP best of hmm, best of MCP servers. There you go.
And can you
So there,
release that link so I can post it into the chat?
yeah,
I'll look at it as
absolutely.
well. So these are already people like ones that people have already created and have made free. Like so, it's quite a bit. And there's already some like available ones. I think Claude provides the official ones that people have been making out. I'll put this in the chat for everybody to see. Those are the list of servers that are out there that everybody can leverage. And what's wild about the MCPs is again, it just really creates and makes it an easy way for you to do different things based on what it is. Look at all this. And I believe Claude also has MCP servers. So if I look up Claude MCP, right? These are the official ones that are actually allowed or that have been certified by Claude themselves to kind of get it going, which I thought was pretty wild. Yeah, these look at it. There's a lot. There's a
Oh
lot.
yeah, tons.
So sometimes you can even find out whether or not like there's a tool out there that you like to use. And if there's a tool out there that you like to use, you can leverage one of these MCPs to connect to, and it just gives you access to everything that the tool can do. And I don't know anybody watching who's a big fan of Gamma. Gamma just released an API, so I probably foresee an MCP server coming pretty darn quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got our various services, and we've got our setup document, and we've got pretty much everything. Looks like pretty much everything. So this is our documentation to run high-level MCP server. You'd put some information in here, get started with your API keys, client ID and secret. It tells you how to use it, how to set it up, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty much. Let's see what models it's got and what tools it has. So it still needs to build out some tools. So again, guys, like it's not always done. Let me say what is next and the repository and determine what are the that's right. So we're just gonna run let cursor do its thing. Check for any errors, what it's thinking about. Some tests. We got main.py. Okay.
And again, just to remember the vibe coding kind of theme to it, um, we are searching through and everything else. And again, when you mention tools, right? if we really think about Mario, Mario is uh, tools that basically it can use. Like think of it like almost like the options it has that allow us to use the MCP. So for instance, it could be calendars. Those are tools like calendars, with social media posting. Um, I mean, they have a ton, right? Like messaging, text messaging, um, pipelines. Those are all going to be different tools. And that's what is important for you all to understand as we go through.
Right. Exactly.
So what Mario did is he went into tools and there was nothing there. So he was like, okay, well, we can't use anything if we don't have tools.
Yep. And so it's got its own to-do list. So right now it's going through its to-do list. And we'll just kind of review some files while it's doing that.
And since I'm using this, you like so when you're working with Python and you're working with a lot of these, um, there's no real interface once you build it, right? Like if I want to look at like this thing working, um, there's no way to put a database whatsoever on this, right?
No,
Not a
so
database, like I mean like an interface. I mean,
no. I mean, the yes, there is, but it's not as simple as one would think. So I found out the very hard way in building an MCP server and creating my own MCP server and building out the interface for Anthropic and ChatGPT. Um, so let me show you what a completed MCP server looks like. Let me see if I can find which window it's in. So this is a completed MCP server that I can show you.
and the reason why this is cool, right? So anybody that knows, right, the regular high level MCP only has 21 endpoints, meaning it has 21, well, not even all 21 tools. Let's just say it has about maybe like 15 tools as of now that you can access that you can talk to. Mario went ahead and created all 251 endpoints that you're able to use with his MCP server. So his MCP server right now is more advanced than high level's own because it gives you access to more tools. So if you were to use high levels MCP, you will only get access to about 12 things you can do. Meaning if you're using like NAN or even one of your chatbots and you want to do different things inside of high level without having a programming, creating webhooks and all this craziness, all you would have to do is literally connect to the MCP server and in your instructions in your voice AI, basically say, I want these things doing, I want this to be done, I want that to be done, and so forth. But what's really crazy is imagine now instead of only having like 10 or 12 things you can do by connected to this one MCP server, you go to Mario's and Mario now has like 251. And if again you're looking at the screen right now, this is Mario's new tool that's in beta right now. And if you guys haven't signed up for the beta, do me a favor. Can you actually put that link in there for me
Yeah,
so I can put it in the
absolutely.
chat? This is Talk to My CRM. It gives it the basic ability of you actually talking like through a chat or through voice to the actual to your entire CRM instance inside of this, which I think is beyond badass. And again, I think you're only taking a few people for beta, but if you guys want to see how it works, so right now he's got a chat bot, right? So let me explain it. So because if I can explain it, that means everybody can understand. Like because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So you right now have this AI agent that will now be able to talk to one of your sub accounts inside of high level because you now have this AI agent connected to the MCP server, correct?
Yes. So I have so this is the agency's interface. So I will go down here. I'm gonna go find my one that I know is connected. And I'm just gonna hit the little eye icon and go to chat with AI. And I have my MCP server connected to I actually built out a complete custom interface for ChatGPT and Anthropic Claude models. I supercharged it with an MCP and a knowledge base. And then I also built out a voice interface as well. So you have both available. So you're able to speak to your AI and you're able to chat with your AI. And then on top of that, um, I built out a pseudo dashboard for high level so that you have the ability to do pretty much whatever you want inside of this application in terms of um, insulating people from visiting high level or knowing it's high level. So one of the big problems that I identified was that I was getting people who were signing up for my white label of high level that would sign in and say, "Oh, isn't this just high level?" And so to fix that, I created an MCP interface and dashboard combo that the agency owner actually has the ability to drag and drop widgets. They can control what their user has access to. And because it's using high levels API and not using high levels native interface, it is impossible to figure out that this is high level. Does that make sense, Nuno?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, so it's pretty neat, pretty powerful, pretty unique. High level is going to give you the ability to use MCPs through their voice interface. But one of the things that they are lacking is the ability to remove the time limit. And also, we all know that high levels MCP server just isn't really set up to function with all of the tools and things like that. So we break through that. This gives you the ability to have both, the best of both worlds. You get all of the endpoints, and on top of all of the endpoints, you get an advanced chat interface that saves your history. You get the voice interface as well, so we can just talk to it. You just hit this button right here in the center and talk to it like you would a normal human. You minimize that window, leave it running in the background, and all you have to do is say something like, "Hey Ollie, hey Harley," or it's having a conversation and it's actively listening to you if that's the route you choose. And it's super easy. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. New tech, a lot of fun. It does calendars management, it does opportunities management, it does contact management, which I won't show you that tab because it'll actually show people's contact information. But I can just ask it questions about my CRM. I can tell it to do things in my CRM. I got a pretty big amount of options. And let's check back in on Cursor and take a look at what Cursor's been up to. So sometimes, guys, it does get stuck. I am on a Windows computer, so sometimes it gets stuck a little bit more often than not. Um, so what I'm going to do here is open a new terminal. And I am going to type in Python test setup.py, see what it does. So it has, this is what the information it gave me. So we need to copy this and we're going to paste that right there. Nope. So copy this like this. Financial. I'm going to send that message. And so it doesn't like, a lot of times it doesn't like running terminal PowerShell commands inside of Windows. So let me figure out why. Why is it freezing? I hate Windows computers.
Also notice how he's doing it, right? Guys, like, I don't know if you see that all right, but he's like talking to us like, hey, figure out what's going on, something's failing, and it's going through. So again, we talk to the AI when we're having issues. We're not trying to go over there and debunk it ourselves. We're using AI to help debunk AI. So just want to make sure everybody understands that. Like, this is the normal way of vibe coding. You know, we just went through this. Like I said, we had 100 people in a room, and a lot of people were having the same issues. And I kept just trying to tell them, just talk to the AI like it's an employee and say, hey, there's something wrong here. We'll go ahead and figure out what's going wrong. So you can go ahead and you can go through. And remember, this is going to be a process, right? We're going to be going through this every week. Because the other thing that we're also going to be doing is we're going to try to have it live so we can go ahead and find out, like, again, if we can actually get this up and running, and you guys can see it full-fledged how we're doing it. And again, just to kind of recap what we've done so far, Mario's using Cursor. Cursor is a much more advanced coding agent that allows us to do this because it uses other coding platforms like Python. The second thing that we did is he uploaded all the documents from high level into Cursor to index. Then he created a plan and a README file. And then now what he's doing is he's been building it and troubleshooting it. The first encounter we came up with is that it needs tools in order for it to operate as an MCP server. And we went into the tools area to find out whether or not if tools was there. We noticed that there was no tools there. And now what we're going through is we are giving again, we're going through it and we're testing the server to find out what's going on. And that's what he's doing right now with it.
Yep. So just installing some requirements. And there we go. Now we're moving forward.
There we go. Holy smokes. Yeah. So what did you do? So did it prompt you to go ahead and install the different requirements?
Yeah, so I told it, hey, you're frozen. What's going on? Hello. It was like, yeah, I'm frozen. Run this stuff manually.
And then on the left-hand side, you were using what's called a terminal window where you were just prompting in the commands, right?
Exactly. So we're just letting it do its thing. It's installing all those things. So where earlier it was saying that it couldn't do it, now it is letting us install that stuff. Cool. Now we can run our test again. So we're just waiting for that to run. Testing the imports. There we go. We got some issues. That's perfect. So we need to grab that issue. And we need to copy that. And then paste that in here. So then it's going to go in and it's going to fix some issues itself. Yep, so it's fixing the issues itself. So again, guys, just like Nuno said, we're having the AI troubleshoot itself. And the trick is to ask it the right questions and make sure that you give it as much context as possible to be able to troubleshoot the different pieces. Cool. So next up, we'd have to register our app. and go ahead and update the env file. So I think that's a pretty good
Stopping point, yeah,
stopping
because the
point for today,
marketplace is
Nuno.
actually, it's actually like a very big question we had at the event, when a lot of people were asking about like how to get things into the marketplace and everything else. So next week's lesson is going to be about how to get your marketplace app going, because I think a lot of people have been having crazy amount of questions on it. And that's it. For anybody else, remember, talk to my CRM is up for beta for anybody that literally wants to talk to their own GHL, which is beyond freaking cool, and always want to know what's going on with you're in there. Mario's launching in the next few weeks, so jump on beta. I think you have over 1,200 people in waiting right now.
Yep.
And like I said, obviously you've seen Mario work and all the crazy things he delivers. So imagine what this thing's going to be like. So, so that's it. So folks, we'll keep it, we'll end it again for today, because next week we'll go into the marketplace. So then we can actually load and connect to our MCP, and then we'll go from there. All right. Thanks everybody. We'll see you on the next one.